Hello, everyone. It is a fine Tuesday morning in Phoenix, or Tuesday afternoon, gosh, in Phoenix, Arizona. Beautiful weather outside. And we're here at 4:31 p.m. So I want to remind everyone that we are live captioning our meetings. Please look in the chat window of our WebEx meeting where you will find a link, and please click on that link to open a web page with the live captioning if you choose to do so. So before we move into our formal agenda, I'd like to take a moment to welcome the newest member of the community college team, and that is Dr. Lisa Armour, who is our Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost. So welcome, Dr. Armour, and we're excited and happy to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
And also, Ms. Ellis, we want to thank you again for the work that you have put in while serving as the acting provost. I know it's been a long haul and you wore many hats. We certainly have appreciated your efforts in that arena, so thank you for that. I want to also announce that we have some substitutions this evening. Ms. Janelle Elias is sitting in for Dr. Kate Smith, our president of Rio Salado Community College. Brett Garwood is sitting in for Gary Eberhard, our facilities director, and Marcy Snitzer is sitting in for Dr. Tammy Robinson, Mesa Community College president. Just as a reminder to folks, the agenda review is not mandatory, but we find that it has provided us all with such great background and opportunity to comment that we continue to have these, and they're certainly posted, and we conduct business as usual, but they are not mandatory on anyone's record, at least not for the governing board members at this. So just as a point of order for anyone. So at this time, I'm going to call to order the agenda review meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board for December 5, 2023. Today, we're going to review the agenda for the December 12, 2023 board meeting. For the record, I'm going to call roll. I'm going to start with our student trustee, Mr. Lynn Burnett. Are you present?
I'm here, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Bittersmith?
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Butler?
I'm present, thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Davis?
I'm here, thank you.
Great. Dr. Narini?
I'm present.
Good. Jacqueline Smith? Ms. Smith?
Present.
Thank you. Dr. Thor?
Present.
Thank you. With my presence, all 7 board members are present this evening, as well as our student trustee. Thank you for being in attendance. I don't anticipate this meeting to be long, though there are a couple of things certainly to talk about. But as this is an agenda review, everyone knows that we go through an order of events. Want to say that we will start our meeting on December 12th at 6:30. We will be proceeding that with some entertainment from our own mariachi band, and that little gathering and reception will start at 6 p.m. So I hope all of you will be able to join us. That will be at Rio Community College. When we go through the meeting agenda, we will hear reports from student, faculty, adjunct faculty, and staff. And then also we have Dr. Gonzalez Chancellor report. You know, we're several years in the making here of how these meetings run, what agendas look like. And at the end of every year, we have opportunity to kind of reflect on the efficiency, effectiveness of our meetings. And I think there may be some tweaking and changes that we'll be looking forward to in the new year. And we might hear more about that at our December 12th meeting. But just wanted to give everyone a heads up. We will continue with the normal process continuing next meeting before some of those changes might take effect. We also have next meeting opportunity to review the faculty emeritus distinctions to several of our former faculty. In fact, there are 4 of those, and they will then, after the presentations, move to consent agenda, and that would be Brad Bates, Dr. Wanda Tucker, Mr. John Jensen, and Mr. Frank Zamora. So stay tuned for that. So board members, considering our consent agenda for December 12th, I know you've read these materials. Do you have any comments on items 6 through, I believe it's 14, on the consent agenda? Don't all speak up at once.
Ms. Sullivan,
Yes, Dr. Narini?
I had one curiosity.
Sure.
On item 11,
Okay, let's all move to item 11. Okay,
it's one on dual enrollment.
yes.
Is that it looks like Maya High School is on 36th Avenue in Glendale. And I'm just curious why they're partnering with Scottsdale and not Glendale or Phoenix College, which would be much closer.
So Dr. Gonzalez, who would you like to answer that question?
Good question, Dr. Narini. I can say that whenever these agreements were restructured, and I think this has been well over 10 years at this point in Maricopa, that it wasn't necessarily physical proximity that was determining who might partner with these high schools, which brings up a good question. And the fact that I'm even saying that it's been at least 10 years since this conversation took place around um, who's the providing college of district or dual enrollment to surrounding high schools. Clearly time to revisit that, but for a better response pertaining to your specific question about Maya High School, I'm going to ask Ms. Sellis if she can provide a response here. Or Dr. Brock.
Oh,
if
I was
she's
going
on.
to say, if Dr. Keisha Brock could come on, I think this is an item that was submitted by her team.
Yes, can you hear me okay? This is Keisha.
Yes, Keisha, go ahead.
Okay, great. So
Let everybody know
oftentimes,
who you are, Keisha. I'm sorry.
Yes, please
Sorry,
introduce yourself. Yeah.
sorry, Keisha Brock, Associate Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. And oftentimes it depends on the course and the program as well. Scottsdale offers culinary and a few other programs that a high school may want to take advantage of. And that's when they would partner with another college in order to offer the dual enrollment.
I see, but the one they're offering here is English 101, and I think most of our colleges offer English 101.
Yeah, we do for sure. I don't have it up in front of me. I can definitely follow up, Dr. Narini, to find out exactly why in this particular instance. I don't believe Scottsdale is what we call the coordinating college for that high school, but perhaps for some reason they worked with the coordinating college to offer that course.
Okay, yeah, and I was wondering maybe it's they had an agreement with the Leona Group, which is part of Maya High School is part of. So I didn't know if it was because they had a partnership with the Leona Group, which would be, I guess, their district, or if it was just randomly selected.
Yeah, I can, if you'd like, I can follow up with the board this evening and get that info to you.
Sure. I was just curious because I know just from my experience, it can be, I know that the early college people do a lot of work to get out to the high schools and help with the registration and stuff. And I just thought that was a long haul for the Scottsdale people to get out there.
Right.
All right, thanks. That's all. That's all. It was just a curiosity.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dr. Narini.
Thank you.
It seems it's certainly an interesting question, and we would appreciate some response or satisfying Dr. Narini's curiosity, Dr. Brock, but also just informing board members. That would be great. Thank you. Board members, are there any other comments you wish to make on any of the other items? We have certainly approval of authorization for purchase orders, lease agreements, expenditure of budgeted funds being allocated, et cetera. Are there any other comments anyone wishes to make? I have two then, if no one else. I see that we have a placeholder. This is item 6, the acceptance of transfer of new grant from the foundation to the district from Arizona State University Foundation for the 3-year Launchpad program. Could someone give me more information on what that is? Do I know?
President, so Sorry, I was just going to introduce you. Is that Brian?
Yeah, yes, Chancellor. Sorry about that.
No problem. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Chancellor, President Sullivan, governing board members, CEC, and guests. This is a unique partnership with ASU, the Blackstone Foundation, working directly with ASU through the leadership of our own governing board member, Jacqueline Smith, reached out to the foundation as well as Estrella Mountain Community College regarding the ability to work with a collaboration around coursework related to entrepreneurialism and innovation. It's a 3-year effort and a collaboration between ASU and Estrella Mountain with a variety of programming events. The Launchpad is an effort that Blackstone Foundation has put forward in other communities, and it seems to be very effective. So we're excited about our student entrepreneurs learning about entrepreneurship, starting and growing enterprises on college and university campuses.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for that information, and thank you for all of you who worked on that. Sounds pretty interesting and exciting at the same time. Thank you.
President Sullivan.
Go ahead. More?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I
No,
just
please.
wanted to stress that and to appreciate Board Member Smith for helping to make that observation and connection. She recognized in her email to me and others that in wearing both hats for ASU and as a board member, she helped to make that initial connection back in late May. So we're glad to see this come to fruition. So thank you, Board Member Smith.
You're welcome. Glad it worked out.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jacqueline. And it was also good to hear about this as a program. So that's great. Thank you so much. Dr. Gonzalez, this is Marie again. I have another question, and it's probably has a humorous side, but also an important side. On the approval to issue a purchase order for a sign for Children Gilbert Community College at the Pecos Williams campus, is there a logo involved in this, and is it the traditional logo that we use for the college, remembering another incident where we had a logo question?
President Sullivan, I'm going to need to defer to Dr. Peterson to hopefully help us answer that question. Dr. Peterson, are you there?
Well, it wasn't earth shattering as an inquiry. I just remember another time when there was new signage and there was some adaptation of a logo. So I wanted to ensure that we had cleared all of our hurdles on this one.
Okay. I will be sure that we look into that, President Sullivan, and get back to you if there's anything that needs to be shared related to that. But based on the description that I'm seeing here, it sounds like it's the demolition of existing monument signage and replacing 8 of them at 4 different at 2 campus locations.
Right, and I did read that. I just wanted to make sure that we were good to go on that issue, given some past history. So thank you very much for that. Mr. Barbers, before I close the discussion on the consent agenda, do you have any other comments or questions, curiosities?
I have one more thing, President Sullivan. I don't mean to jump in front of our board members, but it's related to the discussion that just had. Dr. Peterson is having technical issues, and he texted me that they are using existing logos, so we shouldn't anticipate any issues.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so after the consent agenda, we move on to our non-consent action items. We have one item under non-consent action, and that is approval of establishment of a quasi-endowment as reserved for self-insured medical plan and the transfer of fund balance from the general fund to the quasi-endowment fund and use for medical insurance claims in excess of funding. Before I ask board members if you have any comments or questions, Ms. Granillo, I expect you're available to talk about this a little bit.
Oh, certainly. Thank you so much, President Sullivan. Dr. Gonzalez and members of the governing board. Very similar information has been shared at the governing board retreat on 11/14, and then also with the Employee Benefits Advisory Committee, otherwise known as EBAC, an internal group to Maricopa, ahead of this item coming forward. I think the description in the action item is definitely accurate of what we're requesting. To provide a little bit of context and a small amount of history, Maricopa has been self-insured for medical benefits since 2005. There is in process right now, as we speak, a strategic benefit multi-year plan is in development and should be shared far more broadly in the spring. Ahead of that, though, there is an interest to reestablish a quasi-endowment, which would serve as the reserve for us being self-insured for our medical plan. We had built a reserve over several years previously upon the election to move to being self-insured in 2005, but we did transfer the balance from that quasi-endowment fund into the general fund via recommendation to the board in fiscal year 2019. That decision was based on sufficient resources being available in the self-insurance fund and based on the timing without knowledge that we would have a pandemic coming along with associated increased costs and significant inflation. Since the financial situation has changed over the last at least few years, we recommend transferring 17.8 million from the general fund balance to reestablish the quasi-endowment. This does represent an estimated 3 months of average medical claims expenditures. Consultants in the industry do recommend when you're self-insured to have a balance somewhere between 3 and 6 months of expenditures. So this is at the lower end of that recommendation, but certainly meets the recommendation. And as a reminder, which is also in the action item, the funds will only be used as a reserve in case of catastrophic or unforeseen events. And again, another reminder that the establishment of a quasi-endowment requires the action of the governing board, and transferring funds out of the quasi-endowment would also require the action of the governing board, or really any changes within that quasi-endowment requires action from the board. So there isn't a way for the administration to do something that the board is not aware of and has not taken action on. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Grinio. Board members, we've heard a little bit about this before. It's come before us. It will be on the 12th agenda for approval. Do you have any comments or questions for Ms. Grinio at this time on this topic? Ms. Grinio, it sounds like you've done a great job of keeping us as a board informed and knowledgeable on this topic. So board members, one more time, any comments or questions? There being none, we'll expect to see this coming forward for a motion and possible approval at our 12th meeting. Thank you, Ms. Granillo, for the information and for your time on this issue.
Thank you.
After that item, we will move to the first read of information on the employment report. That would be October 7 through November 3rd, 2023. Any questions, board members? There's also in front of you a proposed 24 calendar year for the governing board. I want to comment that this is a basic calendar at this time. It's sprinkled with a few things that are anticipated given our history and historical attention to particular items, i.e. budget, etc. Otherwise, it's maintaining at this time the agenda review 2 weeks prior to a governing board meeting until you get to November, December. And we'll follow a pattern. Again, it will be subject to change, but for those interested in marking calendars for regularly scheduled governing board meetings and or agenda reviews, I think it could be helpful. It also makes note of some conferences that are on people's calendars going forward. So this is what we know today. It's not to say that it's being chiseled in stone, but certainly something as a point of reference for you at this time. Do you have any comments or questions on this? Okay, thank you. Follow a similar pattern. Then we'll move to the monitoring reports. And right now we have one item for sure and a placeholder for another. And the first one would be that on the unrestricted fund for the 12 months ending June 30, 2023 is final analysis report. And then there is the placeholder for the general unrestricted fund for the 5 months ending November 2023, beginning in July. Are there any comments or questions about either of those two items? Okay, well then at that meeting, we'll conclude as usual with governing board reports and any summaries. And it will probably become another recitation of dates and places, but it's always good to hear from board members, I think, in that context. Reminder then, as we move to the next meeting for your calendar, again, next Tuesday, we will be in person at Rio. There will be the 6 p.m. reception with a 6:30 start date for a governing board meeting. I want to note that Ms. Bittersmith will not be present at that meeting due to business travel, and we'll be sorry you won't be there to hear the mariachis with us, Ms. Bittersmith.
And I will definitely miss it, and my apologies.
Well, we'll miss having you there. Then as we move into January, on January 9th, as tradition, there will be a special meeting for the election of board officers. That meeting will be at 4:30 on January 9th. And anticipated right now, there will be a work session, probably a budget work session. And we will then move into agenda review for the January 23 meeting. Want to make note that there is some work that will be construction work of sorts that's going to be happening at Rio. So in the month of January, Rio Conference Center is not available for our use. So the tentative location for our meetings in January is Phoenix College, the location with the most space and opportunity to host us at this time, more centrally located. So make note of that. And then similar to January 23 board meeting starting at 6:30. Right now, I don't know of any work session that could be attached to that. One never knows, but as of now, there's nothing scheduled. And again, that would also be at Phoenix College in the Hacienda room. Thank you, Phoenix College, for accommodating us in January. We appreciate that. So short meeting this evening. I don't anticipate the 12th will be quite as short because we will have our reports and updates, etc. We'll look forward to all of that as we close out the 2023 calendar year. Can't believe a year has gone by already. Oh my. So with that, everyone, is there anything you would like to add, board members, or any comments for this evening? Thank you all for your attendance tonight. Thank you, Elsa and Technology, for bringing us this meeting virtually. And to all of you, please have a good night and be safe out there. So this meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.